Picture yourself at the brink of an immense, shadowy forest, where the path ahead is obscured by a thick, swirling mist. Each step you take is a dance between intrigue and dread, as you search for something elusive, something crucial, yet nameless. An unsettling sensation gnaws at you, a profound emptiness that clings to your spirit like a shroud, suffocating and relentless. Perhaps you've experienced this before, a haunting awareness that you are adrift, estranged from the very existence you inhabit. You move through life's motions, treading the path laid out before you, but a sinister whisper echoes within. This is not your truth. Something vital is absent. Carl Jung, a towering figure in the realm of psychology, grasped this unsettling feeling more deeply than most. He dedicated his life to delving into the shadowy recesses of the human mind, revealing the dark forces that mold our identities and emotions. Jung posited that this inner void is not a flaw or a sign of brokenness. Rather, it is a chilling summons, an urgent beckoning to embark on the most perilous journey of all, the quest for the authentic self. In this exploration, we will peel back the layers of the inner void, examining why so many wander in a fog of disconnection and despair. Jung's groundbreaking insights may hold the key to confronting and transcending this existential abyss. The final revelation, the most potent of all, has the power to irrevocably alter your perception of yourself and the world around you. Take a moment to ponder how much of your existence has been molded by the hands of others. Your convictions, your aspirations, even your very identity. How much of it is genuinely yours? How frequently do you question whether the persona you project to the world is your true self, or merely a character you've been conditioned to embody? And posited that a significant source of this internal chasm arises from the dissonance between our authentic selves and the identities we believe we must adopt. From a tender age, society, culture, and familial expectations shape us, forcing us into predetermined molds. We learn what is deemed acceptable and what is not. We are lauded for certain behaviors while others are met with disdain. Over time, we forge an identity not rooted in our true essence, but in the hollow echoes of external approval. Jung referred to this outward-facing identity as the persona, a mask we don in public, a carefully constructed version of ourselves designed to elicit admiration and evade rejection. Yet herein lies the sinister truth. The more we invest in this facade, the further we drift from our genuine selves. And when the chasm between the mask and the true self widens too drastically, we feel it, a gnawing emptiness, an unsettling restlessness, a haunting sense that something vital has been irrevocably lost. But what, precisely, have we sacrificed in this dark masquerade? The answer dwells in what Jung referred to as the shadow self. This shadow is a dark repository of all we have cast aside, suppressed, or denied within ourselves, the emotions deemed unacceptable, the desires we buried deep in fear or shame, the facets of our personality that clashed with the mold imposed upon. Yet, here lies the chilling truth: these concealed aspects do not vanish. They fester beneath the surface, subtly manipulating our thoughts, behaviors, and choices in ways we remain blissfully unaware of. The greater the chasm between our conscious self and our shadow, the more profound the sense of emptiness becomes. In our desperate attempts to fill this abyss, we seek solace in distractions, work, relationships, achievements, and entertainment. But nothing truly quenches our thirst. No matter how much we attain, how many accolades we gather, or how tirelessly we occupy ourselves, the void persists. But what if this void is not a malevolent curse? What if it is not something to flee from, but rather something to confront? Jung posited that this emptiness serves as a gateway, a haunting signal urging us to delve inward, to confront what we have long evaded, and to reclaim the forsaken parts of ourselves. He termed this harrowing journey individuation, the path toward wholeness. And it is here that the true odyssey begins. For genuine self-discovery is not about fabricating a new identity or reinventing oneself. It is about peeling back the layers of conditioning and fear to reveal what has always lurked in the shadows. How do we initiate this journey? The first step is to cultivate awareness, learning to look beyond the facade. Reflect on this: what aspects of yourself have you hidden away to conform? Which emotions have you pushed aside because they made you uneasy? What aspirations have you stifled because they felt too unconventional, too dangerous, or too unacceptable? Jung once remarked, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This suggests that we need to delve into the areas we've been hesitant to confront, approaching them with curiosity rather than judgment. the parts of ourselves we've deemed weak, flawed, or even sinful? What if they are the keys to a deeper self-understanding? Confronting our shadows is challenging. It demands bravery and a readiness to question everything we believed about ourselves. However, it is only by integrating these hidden facets that we can start to fill the emptiness, not with external distractions, but with our own authentic selves. Moreover, consider this: the void is not truly empty. It brims with untapped potential. What if the emptiness you experience is not a deficiency, but rather an opening, a space eager to be filled, not with illusions, but with the essence of your true self? In the next section, we will delve into the remarkable power of the unconscious mind and explore why the path to transformation lies not in fleeing from the void, but in fully embracing it. Consider a dream you once experienced, one so hauntingly vivid that, for a fleeting moment, you believed it to be reality. Then, as dawn broke, you awoke. The images evaporated, the sensations dulled, and the cold grip of reality tightened around you. But what if I revealed that much of what we cling to as real, our identities, our desires, even our deepest fears, is merely another illusion? An illusion crafted not by our authentic selves, but by the sinister forces lurking in the shadows, manipulating us from the depths of our unconscious. Carl Jung posited that to truly uncover our essence, we must first confront the hidden specters that mold our thoughts, emotions, and choices. He contended that the unconscious mind is not merely a graveyard for forgotten memories. It is a pulsating entity that distorts our reality in ways we scarcely comprehend. Until we shine a light on it, we remain puppets, dancing to the whims of unseen hands. So, what is this unconscious, and how does it ensnare us in a web of confusion? Picture an iceberg adrift in the abyss. The visible tip above the surface symbolizes our conscious mind, while the vast, shadowy mass beneath represents the unfathomable depths of our unconscious, where the true horrors lie hidden. It is the aspect of ourselves that engages in logical thought, makes choices, and connects with the world around us. Yet, lurking beneath the surface, concealed from sight, exists a vast and intricate structure. This is the unconscious, a profound and formidable domain where our most profound fears, unprocessed emotions, forgotten memories, and suppressed longings dwell. Jung categorized the unconscious into two segments: the personal unconscious and the collective unconscious. The personal unconscious is distinct to each individual. It is molded by our unique experiences, the memories we have chosen to bury, the emotions we have turned away from, and the traumas we have failed to confront. Each time we push away a painful truth, each time we reject a fragment of ourselves, it does not vanish. It sinks into the abyss of the personal unconscious, where it continues to exert its influence over us in subtle yet often harmful ways. Then there is the collective unconscious, a notion that distinguishes Jung from many other psychologists. He suggested that beyond our individual experiences lies a deeper, shared layer of consciousness. This realm is composed of universal symbols and patterns passed down through generations. Archetypes manifest in myths, religions, and narratives across cultures, appearing in various forms yet carrying the same essential meanings: the wise old man, the hero on a quest, the nurturing mother, the trickster, the shadow. These are not merely characters in tales. They are fragments of our own existence, echoing the sadness of what we often fail to acknowledge within ourselves. They reside deep within our unconscious, subtly shaping our perceptions of the world and ourselves. This is where it becomes truly poignant. For when we feel adrift, when we sense a disconnection from our true selves, it is often because we are ensnared in a narrative that isn't ours. Reflect on the expectations thrust upon you since childhood, the messages you absorbed about what it means to be successful, to be valued, to be a good person. These ideas didn't emerge from thin air. They were inherited, molded by culture, family, and the shared unconscious. You were given a script, a part to play in a tale that was penned long before you had a voice in it. But what if that tale doesn't resonate? What if the character you've been portraying isn't the one you were destined to embody? This is why so many feel an aching emptiness within. They strive to adhere to a script that clashes with their authentic selves. They pursue accomplishments, relationships, and material wealth, convinced these will bring them joy, only to discover that something remains unfulfilled. Deep down, their spirit recognizes the painful truth they are living out someone else's aspirations. Jung posited that the path to breaking free from this cycle lies in awakening, in becoming aware of the unconscious forces that mold our existence. He referred to this journey as individuation, a painful process of integrating the hidden aspects of ourselves, breaking free from the narratives we've inherited, and embracing our true identity. Yet, the harsh reality is that individuation demands confrontation. It involves awakening to the unconscious forces that shape our lives, forcing us to face the parts of ourselves we've long avoided, the wounds that remain unhealed, the desires we've suppressed, and the fears we've buried deep within. Jung once remarked, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Take a moment to reflect on that. How many of your struggles, your recurring patterns, your profound frustrations, how many of them feel like an inescapable fate, as if they simply happen to you regardless of your efforts? What if they are not fate at all, but rather the unconscious mind playing out unresolved conflicts hidden beneath the surface? This is why the sensation of being lost transcends mere lack of direction. It signifies a disconnection from your true self, the self that exists beyond societal roles, beyond conditioning, beyond the unconscious programming, the self that has been buried, yearning to be unearthed. But how do we even begin this daunting journey? How do we begin to peel away the layers and reconnect with what we've lost? The first step is to observe, to take a step back and question the beliefs we've accepted without even realizing it. Ask yourself, which parts of me feel inauthentic? What do I pursue out of genuine desire? And what do I do simply because I feel obligated? What emotions do I shy away from? What truths about myself do I resist? The answers may not come easily or quickly. The unconscious doesn't reveal itself all at once. It communicates through symbols, dreams, and recurring patterns. Yet, if you start to pay attention, if you begin to question rather than just accept, you may begin to uncover the hidden forces at work. And here lies something even more profound. The unconscious is not merely a reservoir of hidden fears and buried wounds. It is also a wellspring of deep wisdom. It holds the key to your creativity, your intuition, your true potential. This is why the void is not just an absence. It is a chance for something more. If you feel lost, if you feel disconnected, it may not signify that you are on the wrong path. It could mean you are standing at the brink of transformation. But transformation doesn't occur by mere chance. It demands a conscious choice, a willingness to confront the unknown. In the next segment, we will delve into the chilling reality of confronting the shadow self, revealing how this dark encounter can lead to the most profound transformations. What you dread the most may very well be the key to your escape from the shackles of your own psyche. Picture yourself traversing a shadowy corridor, its walls lined with mirrors that do not reflect the familiar visage you expect. Instead, each mirror unveils a haunting fragment of your being, echoes of yourself that you have long buried or deliberately overlooked. Some reflections are deeply unsettling, exposing emotions you have stifled, desires you have rejected, and fears you have concealed in the darkest corners of your mind. Others, however, are unexpectedly potent, illuminating strengths and potentials you have never dared to acknowledge. This corridor represents your unconscious mind, and lurking at its end, shrouded in darkness, is the most terrifying aspect of your existence, the part of you that you dread the most. Carl Jung referred to this as the shadow self, a sinister collection of all the facets of your identity that have been repressed, hidden away because they were deemed unacceptable by society, family, or your own self-imposed constraints. It encompasses the thoughts you refuse to confront, the impulses you wish would vanish, and the elements of your nature you have tried to silence. Yet, here lies the cruel irony: the more we attempt to suppress the shadow, the more formidable its grip becomes. The more we deny its existence, the more it manipulates us from the depths of our subconscious. If we choose to ignore our inner struggles, they often emerge in ways that confuse us: self-sabotage, harmful habits, irrational fears, and an overwhelming sense of being adrift. Jung posited that true self-discovery demands not only an acceptance of our brighter sides, but also a brave confrontation with the shadows lurking within. The shadow is not merely a repository for our most undesirable traits. It also guards a wealth of untapped potential. Within it resides hidden creativity, dormant energy, and the raw strength needed for profound change. So, how do we begin to face the shadow? First, we must recognize how it manifests in our lives. The shadow doesn't announce itself. It surfaces through projection. When we notice in others the very qualities we refuse to see in ourselves, we should reflect on those who unsettle us the most, those who frustrate, anger, or discomfort us. We must ask ourselves, what is it about them that stirs such strong feelings? Often, the answer lies not in them but within us. The traits we criticize most harshly in others frequently mirror parts of ourselves that we have yet to embrace. The arrogance we detest in someone else may echo our own buried confidence. The selfishness we condemn might reveal the ways we neglect our own needs. The behaviors we find intolerable in others could be aspects of ourselves that we have pushed so deep into our unconscious that we no longer recognize them as our own. It's a painful realization, but one that holds the key to our healing. The initial step involves recognizing the patterns of projection and identifying where the shadow influences our everyday interactions. This can be challenging, as our ego tends to resist this acknowledgement. It is reluctant to accept that the traits we criticize in others often reflect what we have yet to confront within ourselves. However, awareness is the first step toward transformation. Once we identify the shadow, the following step is to integrate it. This does not imply acting on every repressed desire or succumbing to every impulse. Rather, it involves honestly acknowledging these hidden facets without shame. Jung referred to this process as shadow work, which is the intentional effort to bring the unconscious into awareness, to scrutinize our repressed emotions, to challenge the narratives we have created, and to reclaim the parts of ourselves that we would have lost. Engaging in shadow work necessitates profound introspection. It requires us to confront uncomfortable truths, to delve into the wounds we have been avoiding, and it also demands something even more difficult: self-compassion. As we reveal our shadow, we must resist the temptation to judge ourselves harshly. Consider these questions: what emotions do I tend to suppress? What fears or desires have I hidden away? Where do I notice recurring patterns in my life? What parts of myself do I deny or conceal from others? A significant insight gained from shadow work is that the qualities we suppress are not inherently negative. Anger, ambition, sensuality, and assertiveness are not bad traits. I observe the same haunting patterns echoing through my life. What parts of myself do I conceal, shrouded in shadows? One of the most chilling truths unearthed through shadow work is this: the traits we bury are not inherently malevolent. The fury, the ambition, the raw sensuality, the fierce assertiveness, these are not evil. They only turn toxic when they fester in the dark, operating without our awareness. Yet, when we embrace them, when we wield them with intention, they transform into formidable sources of power. Consider the notion of the golden shadow. Just as we hide away the aspects of ourselves we deem unacceptable, we also stifle our brilliance, our dormant talents, our most fervent passions, and our potential for genuine fulfillment. Many dread not failure, but the terrifying prospect of their own power. They shudder at the thought of fully embracing their abilities, their voice, their purpose. Countless souls languish beneath their true potential, shackled by limiting beliefs. We have internalized the whispers that told us we were unworthy, not clever enough, not deserving of greatness. Over time, we accepted these dark narratives as our reality. But what if they were never true? What if the life you've been leading is merely a shadow of what you could truly become? This is where the most profound transformation occurs, when we cease to view the shadow as something to dread and begin to see it as a guide through the abyss. When we understand that within our darkness lies the key to our illumination. Jung once remarked, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." To achieve this, we must cease fleeing from ourselves. We need to confront our shadows and accept them, not as adversaries, but as neglected aspects of our completeness. The instant we stop fearing the unknown within us is when we unlock the most profound truths about ourselves. What we have been seeking, what we have yearned for, is not external. It resides within us, waiting to be acknowledged. In the next section, we will reveal the final and most significant insight, one that has the power to transform not only your self-perception but also your approach to the world. There comes a pivotal moment in every self-discovery journey when we recognize that we are no longer the individuals we once thought we were. The old narratives no longer resonate. The old fears have lost their grip. Previous identities begin to dissolve, paving the way for something new and more authentic. However, this transition is not without its challenges, as before we can fully embrace our true selves, we must confront the greatest hurdle: releasing the identities we once held. Carl Jung posited that the journey of individuation, the road to genuine self-realization, involves not just discovering who we are, but also unlearning the false identities we have adopted to satisfy others, letting go of the conditioned responses that have influenced our choices, releasing the limiting beliefs that have kept us feeling small, fearful, and disconnected from our true potential. The reality is that many people shy away from transformation. It involves loss. It demands the release of the old self, the comforting illusions, and the attachments to who we once were. This is why so many resist change. Even when it is essential, it can feel like a form of death. The ego clings to what is known, even if it is painful. It fears what lies ahead, suggesting that venturing into the unknown is perilous, and that it is safer to remain in the roles we have always inhabited, to stay within the familiar cycles. But what if remaining unchanged is the real threat? What if the price of clinging to the old self is forfeiting the life you are meant to lead? Jung noted that the greatest burden a child carries is the unlived life of its parents. But this extends beyond our parents. It encompasses every inherited belief, every expectation we have unconsciously accepted, and every outdated identity that no longer benefits us. Thus, the question arises, are you prepared to let go of the past to embrace your future? Many individuals confuse self-discovery with a process of accumulation, as if becoming whole means acquiring more knowledge, experiences, and external accomplishments. True transformation isn't about accumulating more. It's about shedding what isn't truly you. It involves peeling away the false layers, the conditioning, the masks we wear to survive. It's a journey back to the essence of who you were before the world imposed its expectations upon you. The most profound realization is this: the void you dread isn't mere emptiness. It's a space for your authentic self to finally surface. Reflect on this. Why do so many fear the feeling of being lost? They equate it with a sense of lack, uncertainty, and a disconnection from their identity. But what if that feeling of being lost isn't a sign of failure? What if it's merely the first step towards something more profound? Take the caterpillar, for instance. It doesn't simply sprout wings and become a butterfly in an instant. It must first dissolve, retreating into a cocoon where its former self disintegrates entirely. It becomes unrecognizable before it can transform. Human transformation mirrors this process. The void isn't the conclusion, it's the sacred space where metamorphosis occurs. Yet, many flee from it, desperately trying to fill the emptiness with distractions, unfulfilling relationships, careers that leave them hollow, and external validation that never truly satisfies. They cling to the past, resisting the painful yet necessary dissolution that precedes rebirth. But those who muster the courage to linger in the void, to confront the uncertainty, to embrace the discomfort of not having all the answers, those are the ones who emerge forever changed, albeit often with a lingering sense of loss. If you find yourself feeling adrift, as if everything you once held dear about yourself is disintegrating, take a moment to find solace. You are not falling apart. You are breaking through. This echoes Jung's insight that your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Those who gaze outward merely dream. Those who look within awaken. You are in the process of awakening, a journey that is often fraught with discomfort and difficulty. It lacks a clear path or a detailed guide. Yet it carries the promise that beyond this painful transformation lies a reality more profound than anything you've ever experienced. So, what comes next? How do you navigate this space when the person you once were feels like a distant memory, and the person you are becoming remains just out of reach? First, embrace the uncertainty. Resist the urge to quickly fill the emptiness. Allow yourself to wander, to question, and to sit with the unknown, even if it feels daunting. Second, trust your intuition. When the familiar ways of living no longer resonate, heed that quiet inner voice that understands your needs long before your conscious mind does. Lastly, surround yourself with truth. In this time of upheaval, seek out what is genuine and real. It may be a lonely path, but it is one that leads to a deeper understanding of yourself. Explore books, mentors, and discussions that encourage you to think differently, gain a clearer understanding of yourself, and recognize your potential. Additionally, practice patience with yourself. The path to self-discovery is rarely linear. You will experience moments of insight alongside moments of uncertainty, times of bravery mixed with times of doubt. Yet, every step you take, even the wobbly ones, is guiding you towards something significant. Jung once noted, "We meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises on the path of life." This suggests that every challenge, every hardship, and every experience, no matter how tough, is bringing you closer to your authentic self. So, when you feel adrift, remember that the journey is not external. It has always been within you. When you cease searching for yourself in the outside world, and instead turn your focus inward, you will discover that you were never truly lost. You were merely on your way home.